This stamp duty reform is one of the centrepieces of Dominic Perrottet's record spending budget, which was handed down yesterday. So a purchaser of a property can either choose to pay the traditional stamp duty costs up front, or they can opt in to this annual land tax arrangement. To give you an example, a property that would have a $34,000 stamp duty upfront bill, well, the new purchaser can choose to pay a $1,500 annual land tax for however long they own the property for. But once a property is in, it's in forever. So a future owner or a future purchaser of that property that's already been opted in, they can't choose to go back to the upfront stamp duty payment. And this is how the government plans to phase in the stamp duty reform over the long term. They expect to have around 50% of all properties in New South Wales under the new annual land tax arrangement. Within 20 years, the government expects to lose out on this in the short term, but break even in about 12 years' time. But Dominic Perrottet says that this is going to inject about $11 billion into the New South Wales economy within the first 4 years, because they say that the upfront stamp duty costs are a major barrier for people swapping homes and buying homes, and so there's just going to be more sales. Here's a bit more of what he's had to say on this morning.
Through this process, people have a choice either to pay an upfront stamp duty or to pay something in line with council rates over time for the system to work. Once that property is opted in, it would be opted in, and we would expect, as I said yesterday, that in over around 20-year period, you'd have around 50% of properties opt in.
New South Wales Labor is overall in support of stamp duty reforms, but they're concerned that this annual land tax is going to be applied to farmland, and also the same percentage rate will be applied across the board, which they say is unfair.
For the first time, we're going to see farmland faced with a land tax. Now, I think that that is something that is a real concern. The tax rate he's chosen is flat. So, as I said, if you're living in Rouse Hill, if you're living in Camden, you're going to pay exactly the same rate as someone who lives in Hunters Hill. I don't think that is fair.
Danica, the government plans to seek consultation from community and experts around this reform in the coming months, but plan to have this reform in motion in the second half of next year.